Hello and welcome to a cozy studio vlog. Today I'm taking you along as I work on the Christmas orders that came flooding in during late November and the first few weeks of December. This is always the busiest season for my shop, but this year was something else entirely. I tried my best to capture some snippets whenever I had free minutes during all the chaos. I'm not sure what made this year different, but my orders grew by more than 100%. I started noticing the increase in November, and by December I had made about $100 in just a few weeks. That's absolutely insane number to me, and I'm incredibly grateful to everyone who placed an order or recommended my shop to others. I've been on Etsy for about 10 years now, and I thought I had a steady system down, but this year everything just exploded. I ended up working non-stop for 5 weeks without a single day off. While I'm so thankful for the support, this experience made me rethink my approach, and I think I should start preparing months in advance for the holiday season. I'm considering making more dolls earlier in the year to stay ahead the curve when the busy season kicks in. Thankfully, I did have some help from my assistant, but even with the extra hands, we struggled to keep up with the demand. And just to be clear, this isn't me complaining, I'm just sharing this because even after a decade of making dolls, you can still be completely caught off guard by unexpected surprises. It's a good reminder that growth and change can happen at any time, and it's always a learning process. There were days when I shipped more than 20 dolls in a day, which never happened to me before. And to add a little bit more stress, I accepted a custom order from a local vet clinic to make dolls for their Christmas gifts this year. The clinic is called 8 Elephants, and naturally they wanted an elephant doll, so I started to make samples to figure out what they are looking for. It was a really fun experience since I never worked with a local business before, and it felt like such a big step in expanding the services I could provide. At the end, they chose this design with bold colors and Christmas vibes. I was really happy with the result as well, and had to make tens of these dolls in the midst of fulfilling Etsy orders too. When I'm making a new design for a plush doll, I always start with sculpting the face. All of my prototypes are sculpted using Adele air-dry clay, in this case Adele premix clay. Later, I make molds so I could cast as many faces as I need for the new dolls. That's why it's quite easy to replicate the same design many times. I just need to paint the faces and sew the bodies when fulfilling orders, which still takes time, but it's not nearly as long as making a new doll from scratch. By the way, most of these video tutorials for sculpting these faces and making plushies with printable sewing patterns are available on my Patreon, so check that out if you want to create similar plushies for yourself. At first, when making samples, I painted the elephant faces in lighter colors, which is usually a safe bet when working with new people, but we ended up changing them into darker colors. I'm curious which design you like better, the samples or the end result. Share that in the comments, I would love to read it. While I was working on the elephants, I still made Etsy orders every day, usually dividing my day in two. The first half of the day was reserved for Etsy, and the second half for this big custom order. I usually ended up working late into the night, but the good thing is that I love spending time in my studio, which is very small but cozy place in downtown Vilnius. I painted so many faces, not just for my dolls, but for anyone who want to make plushies like this, but are not into sculpting at all. You can order sets of these painted faces and use them to create your own dolls. I also offer blank faces so people could paint them to their liking. And it's so heartwarming whenever I get to see what people create with them. And I think I'm getting very good at repeating the same design and they look completely the same even though everything is hand-painted. When I tried to reflect why this year was so different from the others, I think I had created a few very popular designs this year, and because of the mix of these new designs that became bestsellers in my shop and some old favorites, my Etsy shop grew a lot. I also think that my dolls became more intricate with fun details added to the costumes and character designs. I had more fun creating and leaned into the whimsical nature of these dolls without the fear of making some strange characters that are probably not everyone's cup of tea. But I think that helped my shop more than trying to appeal for larger audiences. And here's the absolute bestseller in my shop that I created at the beginning of the summer and now sold 40 of these dolls. I couldn't imagine that this doll will be so popular throughout the whole year, and now I'm thinking on expanding this character and creating a few different designs using the same face and body. This doll definitely marks the change in my style and how playful the creative process has become for me, which is so positive, and I feel a little bit revived after years of making plush dolls. It's very interesting to see how handmade businesses fluctuate, and that's why I always preach how important it is to have a few revenue streams. One month you can be drowning in orders, and another, everything goes back to normal. If you watch my videos regularly, you probably know that I make one-of-a-kind porcelain dolls too, have online courses, and film new tutorials every month. Throughout the busy times like this, all those other activities I enjoy had to take a temporary backseat. So now, even if I feel a little bit tired, I can't wait to get back to my projects that were a little bit neglected. I have some big plans for the new year and want to launch my own shop for plushies in addition to my Etsy shop. If you are part of handmade sellers, you probably saw that this year Etsy was always in the news and not in a good way. The random banning of shops, growing fees, and the lack of seller support had me a little bit worried, and I want to have a place of my own in case anything happens to my Etsy shop. Thank you so much for joining me in this festive studio vlog and for sticking around to see the chaos of my busiest season yet. If you're feeling inspired to make your own plush dolls, don't forget to check out my Patreon, where I share tutorials, printable sewing patterns, and tips for sculpting and sewing. This season was a great reminder that even after 10 years, there's always something new to learn and adapt to. I'm so grateful for all your support, whether it's throughout orders, recommendations, or just watching and cheering me on. Thanks again for being here. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss what's coming next. I'll see you soon in the next video. Take care and happy holidays!